guys, it's Paula and I hope you are doing well. This is going to be an update for Pan in Every Palette. I think this is the 13-month update. I think. This is a group collab I'm doing with a bunch of other project panners. I will have their names listed down below so that you could check them out and see what they are up to with their projects. Some of the ladies that are in this project have hit like 20 or 30 pans since this project started a year ago. I've hit 2. During last month's update, I mentioned that if I'm not making any more progress, I should consider stopping this project because it's probably a sign that I have too much on my plate. And so many of you guys were like, just keep going. It'll be better next year. Thank you for watching my videos, even though sometimes I'm a horrible project panner. I really appreciate it. You guys are the best. So I did have a slightly better month for December, I'm happy to say. I did use all of the 4 eyeshadows in this project at least once, so that's something. I hit the bare minimum requirement for this project, so that's good. So let me show you where we're at. The whole point of this project is to hit pan in as many of our palettes as we can, to show our palette some more love, because a lot of project panners zero in on a few things that they're trying to finish, and then everything else goes untouched. I've always loved the idea of this project because I am one of those people that tends to zero in on whatever I'm panning and ignoring everything else. So this project has been good. It has allowed me to work on some eyeshadow palettes that I would not have touched otherwise and would be just sitting in the office waiting patiently. The goal is to hit 1 pan in that palette, and when we achieve that goal, we can roll that palette out and start working on the next one, with the ultimate goal of having a pan in every one of our palettes by the time this project is over. I will be doing this project until I'm 90, if that's my criteria for quitting. It's gonna be a long one. So let me show you the 4 palettes that I've been working on and how many times I've used them in the past month. Let's start with Pat McGrath. This is my La Vie en Rose 6-pan palette. I am trying to hit pan on this shadow right here. It is a beautiful shade. I like it. I have no problems with this color and I have no problems with this palette. The problem is, and I mentioned this last month and possibly the month before, I have a purple in my Pan That palette and I have a purple in my Baby Pan That palette, and I choose those 2 over this one regularly. So I have not made much progress on this throughout this entire year, but I did use it 1 time in the last month. I don't think there's even a dip on it yet. No. There's no dip on it at all, but I am getting some use out of this palette. And I hope to use it more next year. In a couple days, the purple that's in my Pan That palette will be rolling out, and I am making good progress on the purple in my Baby Pan That palette, so at least I'll be down to just 2 purples that I'm focusing on, this one and my Baby Pan That palette. Next is my Natasha Nonna Green Brown palette. I spent some big bucks on this palette. You'd think I'd be using it every single day, but I'm not. The shadow I'm trying to focus on is this one right here. This is called Moonstone. Yep. And I've used it 3 times in the last month. I did also use this shadow called Aluminum once in the last month. For my Shopping Our Stash collab with Elizabeth, I had this on. There is the slightest dip in this shadow now. It is so slight, but I can see it. I don't know if you can see it. It is very slight, but there is a little dip in the center now where there wasn't one before. I am still a very, very, very long ways away from hitting pan, but I'm just glad I pull this out once a month and use it. I think I did also use one of these greens a couple times in the last month. I think I used this one time and this one time. So I am getting some use out of this palette, which is good. It's better than nothing. Next, let's talk about my e.l.f. Aqua Beauty eyeshadow palette. This is in this shade Cool Mist. And the shadow I've said I'm trying to hit pan on is this one right here. But every time I use this one, I use this one. I use them both the exact same. I like to use this kind of as a base and then layer a little bit of this on top because it's got kind of that, it has a lot more interest to it basically. This really doesn't look like much on my eyes. So I put this on as a base and then I layer a little bit of this on top of it. It's what I'm wearing on my eyelids today. And I do have Starboy from my Pan That palette on top of it. I used these two shadows 2 times in the last month. I still think that out of the 4 palettes that are in this project, this is going to be the palette I hit pan on next. And I think it's actually going to be this shadow right here. The consistencies of these 2 shadows are totally different from one another. This one is very putty-like, and when I dip my finger into it, the whole shadow moves. And then when I dip my finger in it again, I tend to move it back the other way to kind of smooth it over. This one doesn't move at all. It just goes straight down. So every time I use it, the dip gets bigger. But this one is just moving all over the place. It'll be interesting to see which one I hit pan on first, since I use them both the exact same amount. But no pan today. So I did use these each 2 times though, so that's good. The last palette that I'm trying to hit pan on is my Colorpop Element of Surprise palette. I have really been enjoying this palette. I'm really only using one shade, this one right here, and I'm trying to hit pan on this guy right here. It makes a gorgeous transition shade. I'm wearing it now. It's a beautiful rosy warm brown, and I used it 5 times in the last month. There's definitely a dip going on. There you go. I think you could see it there. I still feel like I'm quite a ways away from hitting pan though. I don't think it's happening anytime soon, but I'm really enjoying it and I'm glad I have this in the project. This eyeshadow has really been competing with an eyeshadow from my Pan That palette, that's Soft Brown by MAC. And so between the two, I tend to choose Soft Brown over this one because Soft Brown is in my Pan That palette, plus it's in the Experiment. Well, the Experiment is ending, Pan That palette is ending, and I think if I play my cards right, this will be my main crease color or transition color in January, and I will be able to increase my usage on this a lot starting next week. I just have to be careful about what eyeshadows I put in my projects. I am definitely going to have these 4 shadows out in the front of my mind as I'm choosing my eyeshadows for projects for next year. By the way, I still haven't done that. It's December 28th today. And I still need to finish picking products for my projects. Time is flying by. I hope I can spend a lot of time on that tomorrow. I should be cleaning, but I hope I could spend a lot of time planning projects for next year tomorrow. We'll see. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for cheering me along in this project, even when it's slow and I'm frustrated. You guys are like, it's okay, keep going, you can do it, and I appreciate it. Thank you. I will be back tomorrow with another video, and I will see you then. Bye.